Anda masih bersama Sudut Pandang dan saya masih bersama Nurul Izzat.
The people of Malaysia had chosen their representatives in the parliament from the opposition. But how do you keep your promises and make sure that you're going to keep your promises as you have promised them in your campaign?
Firstly, the Barisan Nasional Manifesto in 2004 and 2008 have not differed much. They have not fulfilled their promises in 2004. So I think people, first and foremost, accept the fact that the Barisan Nasional has failed to deliver their promises. As to our promises, I think the people are giving us this chance, and of course it's not something to be taken lightly. We're holding this trust and you have to perform. And we did indicate clearly in my talks, I said I can be your voice without fear or favour. And I never said that I could provide housing per se with no access to a ministry, no access to the federal government. But having said that, the fact that they were governed by someone who had access resources of the ministry for so many years since 1995 and still living in that particular state, it shows that political will is the main ingredient to any effective implementation. So I believe we have the political will, and I believe that the people are now putting their trust in our hands to see whether we will deliver. And I take it step by step, as in when I went to the wedding invitation of one of my supporters today, nothing has changed. I say, of course, now I'm being entrusted with this position, but I continue to see them as I did before in my campaigns, and I continue to listen to them as I did before in my campaigns.
Let's look up internally. So the coalition of the opposition party is made up by several parties that are not and have their own interests. So how do you keep up the balance between internally with the opposition party?
Actually, we've been doing it rather well. I mean, because after yesterday, last night, things are still peaceful. People are just going on their ordinary business. And discussions are, of course, rampant. People are still continuing to discuss in different states, what are the leadership taking place. But it's all done in a cordial manner. And I believe one of the strengths of the opposition is real compromise. Because you're talking about talking to each other as equal partners, not per se, if you're the ruling coalition, which particular component party has upper hand. So we don't practice that. And I feel most of the states have been settled the issues of who's going to be leadership. Even before the elections, Penang, for example, has been clearly stated, and all have actually come together and trying to work out sort of a formula. If you must know, one of the reasons why the decision of the elections were delayed, because SPR claims that we do not have a proper coalition, and we solved that problem by just one phone call to Tan Sri Rashid. This is important to show that whatever problems that may be raised, we can solve it. And that's important, to realize there are problems, not to turn a blind eye to these problems, and accept and be ready to solve them. And I think we don't subscribe to sweeping everything under the carpet. You face the problems in a civilized manner and you find a solution.
You know, when it comes to the national issue, it's not going to be easy to accommodate all the interests of all members of the coalition opposition party. For instance, you have DAP and you have PAS and the PKR. PAS obviously wants an Islamic state.
They did not subscribe to that in their manifesto. I think you should check latest in terms of what are the recent developments brewing up in PAS. How?
Well, some analysts say that they deliberately changed their manifesto just to get more voters.
That is up to assumptions, perceptions. But for me, the fact that even Chinese voters have given their trust to PAS says a lot. You talk about a new leadership in PAS, a new younger group of professionals that have actually tried to mold the party in a more moderate manner. And you have to appreciate this. It's not easy. PAS has been in existence for 50 years. And they have subscribed and they have believed in the democratic process and they've undergone this democratic process. And I think the AP appreciates that. And now you talk about different states, which party has the majority, and almost all problems have been solved. And in Malaysia, we have a clear-cut policy for federal government and what is under their jurisdiction, and state government. So I don't see any problem with that.
Anwar Ibrahim is one of the key figures in the opposition party. So how do you see yourself as the daughter of Anwar Ibrahim in the parliament, standing side by side with him, and how do you deal with it?
One thing I'm proud of is the fact that my father does not hold political office, and he did not use any influence in getting me a safe seat. I got a seat that was likened David versus Goliath. I mean, it's considered politically suicidal. So I'm proud of our achievements, my team and the people of Lembah Pantai. It's amazing. That's one thing. And of course, I am comfortable with the fact that if people come to my talks, they probably ask or have in mind, we want to hear Anwar Ibrahim's daughter, we want to see Anwar Ibrahim's daughter, how would she perform? I mean, it's Anwar Ibrahim's daughter, it's fine. They come to my ceramahs wanting to listen to, who is this Anwar Ibrahim's daughter? But I believe the second challenge is for me to prove to them I'm up for the job. And that's when they leave knowing who Nur Izzah Anwar is and deciding whether to cross that mark on my name on the ballot paper on the 8th of March of 2008. And they've done that, and I feel I accept this responsibility with joy. I'm very humbled by the victory, and I'm already starting to do my work.
Thank you, Nur Izzah, for your time.
Thanks.
Terima kasih kepada pemirsa. Sudut Pandang akan berlanjut ke segmen berikutnya dengan narasumber lainnya.